Hello, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John coming to you live this Friday, 2:30 p.m. Pacific, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Obviously, elections are coming and people have a lot of questions, a lot of worries. We did a post right now, immediately got almost 500,000 views, hundreds and hundreds, not thousands of people commenting and all the craziness that's going on, election coming out there. So I thought I'd come on live this Friday to check out, just answer your questions live about U.S. immigration and what's happening and give some better understanding. Because a lot of people are weird. We're getting the emails right now. People are really worried. There's a big change with the destruction of the Keeping Families Together parole program that President Biden tried to initiate in court. It's unfortunate many of our clients are losing out from the ability to get a green card while in the United States and not having to get a waiver going to the embassy. Would have been a great opportunity for them. But so we're here to ask your questions. Immigration, we'll do our best. We'll do it, to answer some good questions right there. We're live on YouTube, on various pages there, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and on TikTok. And again, I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. This is general education only, not intended as individual legal guidance. For that, you guys schedule a private consultation. Hi, Divine. Nice to meet you. But we'll talk about general stuff here to get you an idea of what's going on in this craziness of the U.S. immigration system, the wild, wild west, if you will, of law and American life. As you know, it's a very controversial topic. The elections are won and lost based on this, and we're right in the thick of it. And I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. We help people obtain green cards and citizenship, particularly for married couples who are, want to bring their loved ones here in the United States. That's one of our primary focuses. But we also help investors, people with extraordinary ability, people who do work in national interest. Steph here asks, "Hi John, on my OPT, and it is ending." I'm sorry to hear that. OPT is a special permission you could have to work in the United States for 1 year after your student visa ends. Majors outstanding, you get additional 2 years on that. And during that time, you get the opportunity to potentially have learn more, but also a company to apply for your green card or for your visa, or maybe go back to school or get married and stuff like that. Somebody says, I think you're asking, is first day CPT legal? So first day CPT technically is legal. It's if you are you sign up for a student visa, like you're going to school, but part of your program at your school is to immediately start working when the first day you go to school, because there's on-the-job training, kind of on the school training, if you will. Now, there's a lot of bogus schools that do this. There's a lot of fraud involved with this, and the government's probably going to crack down on it and potentially look negatively if you used it, unless it's a legit program, it's a legit field of study. I don't like people doing first day CPT, even though it's fully legal, because you never know, next administration comes and they'll take a negative eye towards you because they'll think you're abusing the system with this first day CPT system. It really depends on what you're studying, what you're doing, what your longer term goals are, what the political climate is, all that kind of stuff. Shami says, "Hi John, could you explain about a spouse of U.S. citizen coming with tourist visa and wants to adjust their status with their green card?" Well, you can't come to the United States. Essentially, when you have a tourist visa, you're saying that I'm coming to the U.S. temporarily without the intent to stay here permanently. Now, if you actually have the intent to stay permanently and you're lying at the airport, or if they ask you, then that's going to be fraud. However, in practice, if the person comes to you on a visit and decides to stay here, especially if they're married to a U.S. citizen, it's almost never a problem. But at the airport, if they see 10 bags and you brought all these documents and they look at your phone and say, "Yeah, we're going to come adjust status," they'll kick you out and probably do fraud finding on you, which makes things terrible. So that's the long and short of it. Farid asked, "Hey, my sister was refused due to 221G, but got ready after a month, and now it's been 3 weeks since showing ready on the visa status." Well, the embassy should have contacted you. They may have collected your passport and returned it. I don't know what's going on exactly with the situation there. You got to see what's going on in that particular case with the consulate. Divine asks, "What's the waiting time period for a fiancé visa now?" Well, there's different waiting times. So first of all, the I-129F, the first part to prove who your relationship is real or not, is between 5.5 months to 15.5 months, wide variance. And then you have to do an embassy interview. The embassy interviews depends on which embassy you're going to, and your background could be 2 months, could be 3 years. And then after that, you enter the United States, you file for adjustment of status, and the timelines vary. But they have a new administration coming, so anything I was saying here regarding timelines and large chunks of the law may change in 6 months. Madam Chair asks, "How long does it take to hear from USCIS after filing an appeal USCIS decision for on citizenship case?" They say 6 months, but I've seen it take much longer. It take over a year before. When it comes to timelines, nothing is consistent or reliable. All right, we're getting a lot of people joining us on TikTok, but no questions. Usually it's a million questions on TikTok. Well, that's interesting. Well, if you have questions, let us know. I'm Immigration Lawyer John. We take your questions live by U.S. Immigration, general education kind of stuff. Divine, you're welcome. Let's see. Eyes on Truth says, "Hey, I left you a message. I'm concerned about alien enemies. Act for denationalists, please." I mean, I'm not sure if we got a lot of messages, but there's nothing to say. There's hypothetical stuff about what Trump may or may not do. I mean, we could. I don't know what to tell you. There's nothing I could add to that. Jagan says, "What is the waiting period for a green card to issue for pro?" I don't go into timelines here. I don't know how long the cases are going to take. Anything I say could be wrong, so it's not really worthwhile. Nepali says, "What is your thought on the upcoming immigration for undocumented immigrants?" I don't know. I just see what happens. Jimmy says, "Brother, miss you. Hope all is well. It's been a while. God bless you for doing an awesome job." Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate it. God bless you as well, brother. It's me says, "What if you marry a U.S. citizen and had DACA would expire for 2 years?" Well, then DACA's nothing. Then you just got to go basics. And if you didn't have lawful entry, you'll need to file for an I-601A waiver if you don't have other issues involved in your case. So you can do the case. It's going to take a long time. There's issues. There's roadblocks. Ideally, you would have kept your DACA and not let it expire, and would have traveled advanced parole to visit somebody overseas. And when you entered, then you would have been able to just get a green card very quick, smoothly. Shami says, "How about the program about keeping families together?" That program today was thrown out. So Shami, that program probably wouldn't apply in your scenario, but that a judge shut that down today. So unfortunately, it's not happening. Fari says, "Islamabad embassy has taken his passport and they asked for some documents that time, but it's showing ready. Do you know how long it will take?" I don't know. The embassies are not reliable, and they're getting worse and worse with regards to delays. Eyes on Truth, I answer your question. Dot says, "What if you have a conditional green card? Any issues with renewal under new administration?" Well, the new administration hasn't started yet, so we have it. But if you have a good case and stuff, most you probably have an extra interview or questions or delays. But it really depends on your case. If you have a bad case and it's a problem, if you have a good case, then most likely be fine. Just delays in potential interview. So if I ask John, my STEM OPT is ending. My company filed for perm. Do you recommend go to day one CPT at another school or another school? If you got perm, depends on when they file for adjustment status. Hopefully that comes soon. I'm not sure how they did. They should have done H-1B for you too to hold you over. Probably going to another school and studies better if you could pull it off, like afford the school and stuff like that. Because again, first day CPT is one of the things they're probably going to look at in new administration. So I wouldn't want to mess around with that. But again, it's legal, and you probably most likely if you do it's gonna be no problem. But if you can't avoid it. It's me says, "What if you already answered that question?" Arlington, what about unnaturalization? Is that gospel or is he cancel naturalization? Well, last time around, he set up a system to do what's called denaturalization, President Trump, that is, to take away citizenship for people who had issues and shouldn't have gotten citizenship. That program never got off the ground. Internally, they really didn't want it to happen. But now he's got a lot of time to get started, unfortunately. XO says, "Is it too late to do advanced pro out DACA?" I mean, it's not too late. You could do it or get expedited or emergency requests depending on the urgency of the travel. It's something you should definitely look into, especially if you're married to U.S. citizens or something like that. We got to look at your background and see if it's wise or not, but it's something to look into. I recommend that on our newsletter this morning for our clients if you need to look into that. Ramiro says, what's your hunch for upcoming visa bulletin? I can't really guess. I don't want to just guess random stuff that's worthless. We just got to work with what we have, what the facts we have. Saving says, "Is there a part way for me to the U.S.? I visit occasionally on vacation." I don't know. I don't know anything about you. Manuel says, "I got a question. My mom already got a green card. Is she good? If she got a green card properly, then she got a green card." That's that. Sponge says, "I submitted DS 260 to NBC a month ago. Never heard back. Usually it takes a couple of weeks, not that long nowadays, but I'm not sure. I got to see what's going on in your case, if it's submitted or not. And if you want, contact the NBC and ask him." It's me says, "Okay, you got to say answering the same question over and over again." It's me. Manuel says, "I got a question. My mom already got a green." Okay, answer that question. How long is I-130 for Jamaica? The I-130 for everyone's pretty much the same. If it's a spouse case, probably like 12, 13 months. Could be faster, could be slower. Nepali says, "What is your thought on?" Okay, we got a lot of repeat questions coming. You're welcome, my list, Solange. Okay, we're gonna start muting people pretty quick. Protection under CAT. Should I be worried? Probably not under CAT. That's not something they just give. I mean, probably not. I can't guarantee it. But if you have CAT, a Convention Against Torture, that's not something they usually undo. But I'm not an expert on court hearings and humanitarian cases. Okay. Can you do divorce after filing joint I-751? Yeah, that happens unfortunately all the time. But you have to time it right. You have to file the divorce and get the divorce certificate, notify the government, and strategically notify them after filing for divorce, even before it's finalized, so they don't approve or deny your case beforehand. Manuel says, "I got a question." Okay, I'm going to start muting people. If my brother or his wife with their 4 kids come to the U.S. by visitor visa, is it possible to stay? Unlikely, but there's different options. Depends on what your background is. Can you still travel on advanced parole? I mean, it's still possible to travel, but it's always discretion if they let you back in. Lester, as attorney, what are the options for visa C1D, married to U.S. citizen, and has kids with a green card? When you enter the U.S. with a C1D, if it was to board a plane or some sort of or a boat or something like that, you're not allowed to do adjustment of status. So you may have overstayed at this point. You may need a waiver. So that's a situation with the C1D. It's not a good status to be on. What about welcome course? Continue to stop. I don't know much about the welcome course. I never got into that. X-Man says, is it too late to do advanced pro of DACA? As I was telling the other person, give it a shot. I mean, yeah, to see what happens. How long is I-751? 6 months to 4 years. I-76 receipt with incorrect A number. What to do, please? Contact USCIS, my list, to see if you can fix that. Maybe the USCIS.gov website has a correction request. Hello, I'm a child arrival on DACA program. Recently married on the 1st. Would have to go to Juarez. Probably, unless you have you enter lawfully or you get advanced parole. So a lot of people should look into advanced parole. So if you have DACA, it's permission to travel and come back. And you can do an expedited emergency version. Try to get, and that'll solve avoiding having to get a waiver and go to Juarez and stuff. You may not need a waiver depending on how old you are when you got your DACA. Okay, I'm officially going to start muting people. Let's see. Mute. Where is your office? I'm located in Southern California, Los Angeles, but my office location doesn't matter on most cases because everything we do is mailed to government, called, emailed, fax, that kind of thing. Okay, let's see. Can Trump stop I-130s? Probably not. Maybe brother and sister's case, he's going to try to do that, or adult children. But I don't think it's really possible if someone's already paid the money for it is pending. But you never know. I mean, this is a wild card. Caroline says, will UVs be affected by Trump? I don't know. It depends on if he goes after them and how much power and time he wants to spend on it. There's different ways you could create difficulties. What if my husband was in the military and my DACA has expired? Anything different? Yeah, unless you got subject to the permanent bar, you should have got what's called military parole in place, and that would give you lawful entry for you to file for a green card if your spouse is a U.S. citizen. So it's me. You definitely need to schedule a private consultation to talk about that. Whatever. Okay, I'm gonna start muting some more people. It's destroying the conversation flow. You don't need to ask the same question multiple times. I'm getting to all the questions. User 3010 says, I am here. I still don't have my paperwork. Okay. Sheena says, is it safe to travel with I-751 extension on green card? I don't know about your background. If you have a criminal history or something like that, then no. But for most time, regular people, is no. Sam says, Mr. John, do you take questions from YouTube? Yep. We've been taking all these questions from everywhere. How long is VAWA? I don't do VAWA cases that much, so I don't have a timeline, and it varies dramatically. Deep says, I need help becoming a citizen. I'm a green card holder. Schedule a consultation, Deep. jqqlaw.com/contact is where to go. jqqlaw.com/contact. Sammy K already answered your question. Yes, you're asking questions, and then ask your question. Deep says, I just booked a call. Deep, I know you didn't. I would have known. So if you contact the office, I may have what you've done, jqqlaw.com, but I don't know, maybe you did. I don't remember. So one thing that's very important, I'm glad I got all these people here right now, is there's a lot of people that take my image online and put it and send it to them. They contact you on WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger, this and that. The only way you should send money to me as your immigration, other than the consultation we have a link, a Calendly link on, is seeing me. You're going to do a video meeting where you talk with me, and sometimes my associate, especially if you speak Russian. But unless you're sitting talking to me, it's not me. Now, the AI is getting better and better. There's going to be people who take my video and act like they're me. And when that happens, I'll have to figure out how to deal with that. But as of now, don't send money to anybody to what you think is my office unless you're talking to me directly and you see a video of me during a consultation. Sepesh says, John, are you saying day one CPT can't cause problems for me later? It can, because there's a lot of fraud that goes on in day one CPT. So you may not be doing fraud and you might be a legit program, but under the new administration, that could cause them to be paranoid about you. So I really generally don't like people doing day one CPT, but if I've gotten them approved, no problem, but it's just paranoia. So it depends on how much you want to mess around. Joey said, do you think Trump will slow down I-751? I-751's already slowed down. I don't know how much slower it could get, but we'll see. If I came on a K1 visa, I have Holden. I don't have paperwork. I have Holden. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, you're welcome. It's Shinda Safe. Thank you for answering questions. You're welcome, Dilly. Do you help someone out of US? I help people from across the world. Magda says, I haven't filled to put my mom legal. I'm going to do it soon. How long does it take? I don't know. I don't know where your mom is or what kind of case you have. Chris says, I got my citizenship through the military and I never went to jail. I don't remember what your previous question was, but schedule a consult. We'll go over it. About golf says, hi, John. I'm golf. If you remember, I used to ask you a lot of questions back when I applied for a green card. Now my citizenship interview scheduled next week. So wish me luck. God bless. About good to hear from you again. Best of luck, and hope you success and fast citizenship. Sai says, hey, my bro is still waiting so much time. Yeah, sorry, it sucks. Where it says, I have a pending case with USCIS. I can do adjustment status to marriage with a green card holder. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything about you. Sam says, Mr. John, if someone lost their passport or got a replacement, is it a problem at N400 interview? Not unless there's questions about your travel history and when they want to see that. But if you've been always in the U.S., not having much travel, no deal. Pantea says, my family's I-485 justice stats take longer than usual. In-person interview was done March 2024. It's further assessment. The attorney recommended suing USCIS because they are supposed to reach a conclusion. There's no time they're supposed to reach a conclusion on, but yeah, if you did an interview and 6 months have gone, write them a letter and then try to push it up, ask a congressperson. If none of that works, then sue them. Yasmin says USCIS received their case. Isn't that fast? No, they do biometrics same time as a receipt usually. They schedule it. Yasmin, will case will process fast in January? No one knows. It just depends. Christy says, thank you, John, for your time. It's really useful and helpful. Thank you, Christy. I appreciate that. God bless. Yasmin, okay. What should I do if I miss a 90-day to remove conditions of the green card? You need to do a late filing, Henna. I have a detailed video on this on YouTube. You do jqqlaw.com, I-751 late filing. I really explain step by step what has to be done, but usually people have a hard time doing it, so it's best to schedule a consultation so we will hear your case. Is I-797 mean biometrics? I-797 just means it's a letter that the government sent you. It really depends on what's inside the letter. But it could be an approval, it could be a receipt notice, it could be a denial notice. I-797 just means message from the government. Barack says, if Trump can't undo work permits given to asylum seekers, no, he can't do that. Josh says, I filed, if there's some fraud involved, maybe, but it's not, they can't just stop that. That's because it's in the statute by Congress. What type of visa did Trump Muslim ban impact? It impacted any person coming to the U.S., any visa coming to the U.S. Sam, what does it mean by all documents that your entries to U.S. at N4? Does it mean after green card received? What does it mean all the documents your entries to U.S.? Essentially, is after you got your green card, all your travel leaving in and out of the United States. I think that's the question you're asking. Josh says, I filed my I-130 husbands in room proceedings. Shall I file I-485? Please let me know. I can't give individual legal guidance here. Please know that your I-130, you're supposed to ask for a waiver because you're applying for a case where your spouse is in court. Or if you got married while he's in court, I'm sorry. So it depends on when you got married. Stella says, how do I make consultation? Go to jqqlaw.com/contact. Again, that's J as in Jack, Q as in Queen, K as in King, law, LAW.com/contact. Put your name, phone number, email, and a brief description and what country you're from, and we'll get back to you. KW says, hello, good day. My I-485 and I-131 says case closed, benefits received by other means. What does it mean? Your I-131 means that usually means your green card's approved, so you don't need a travel permission anymore, advanced parole I-131. But your I-485 is the main case, so that doesn't make sense. That's closed. So I'm not sure what's going on exactly there. If your I-485 says the same thing, that's not usually the case. Does a new parole in place judgment affect a marriage green card based on green card overstay visa? No, that's fine. Magda says she is here in the U.S., but she is from Portugal and an American citizen. Schedule a private consult. Let's go for it and talk about it there. Mina says, hey, what is the longest time you've seen taken for USCIS for I-130 petition by U.S. citizen? I'm assuming you mean a marriage case. I've seen usually a year and a half, maybe 2 years if it's really bad. Alclito says, I'm administrative processing Nairobi from May to November. Oof, I'm sorry to hear that. I just had a client interview on yesterday morning in Nairobi after waiting like 2-3 years for the interview. He's in admin processing too. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. Sam says, what documents are? I don't know, Sam. You get too much. You're not asking the questions very clearly, and we have to get into your case, see what's going on. Please schedule a private consultation. Chris says, I have a question. Me and my son applied for a green card with the same case. I've got mine 2 weeks ago and didn't hear my son's green card. What should I do for that? I don't know what kind of basis of case you have, but sometimes they just take the different times. But Without getting to like the details of the case and seeing the receipts and just seeing what happened, I can't really say. But sometimes they just come at different times. Minos, hey, what's okay? Alclido says I'm going to answer that question. Chrissy says I send a question. Okay. Baruch says, is Trump? We answer that. Can I go out of the country if my I-130 is pending? I don't know any more information about what kind of visa category you have, what kind of I-130 it is, if you have travel permission. Probably not recommended. Chris says we have the same case. So, Chris, you say under the same case doesn't give enough information, or is in an F2A case, like because there's no same case because each person has an I-485 green card application has their own individual case. So generally, if you're like married somebody as a green card holder and you have a pre-existing child from a previous relationship, then you're under the same I-130, but the adjustment of status or the consular processing, they're separate cases. Now, some people might have an employment-based case where the kids are under it and the kids is outside the country. So asylum. So the asylum, inevitably, they're each their own case. So if you got your green card, his green card is based on his own case. It's not the same case. Separ says, John, can I still apply for H-1B on day one CBT for or F1 while I'm inside the U.S.? Yeah, if you have status in the U.S., you can file for H-1B, yeah. Sorry, I should say my I-765. Oh yeah, so because you got your green card approved, you don't need the I-765 I-131 anymore. Kidu says, you're welcome, Christy. Can I live outside the U.S. and maintain my green card? You can't full-time live outside the U.S. You have to be living in the U.S. If you're outside, they'll eventually take your green card back. Ringler says, is it possible to leave early and come back legally? I don't know what reference to. Zoe says, for I-751, should I send evidence since we got married or since I got green card? We usually start off by sending it since you got your green card, but sometimes they'll send a request for evidence that asks for since you're married, but I don't like to give them that much that up front. Sammy says, question above, Mr. John, what does it mean all the documents that you used to enter U.S. at N400? Does that mean after green card receipt or even EAD? Yeah, just bring everything. Bring any immigration stuff that you have. I just filed for asylum, hoping there won't be issues. Yeah, best of luck. Can a asylum seeker voluntarily leave to another country other than their home country? They could do whatever they want, but I don't do asylum cases, so I don't want to talk about that. Kids says, thanks so much, John. Appreciate it. You're welcome. Chrissy, your question is not coming up, so when you keep asking, can I answer your questions? There's no question for you. I see. King So says, is it safe to travel? Who knows? How long for RFE answer? There's no time frame. Jay says, I filed my N400 with pending removal and conditions. In 8 days, should I expect interview soon? No, just whenever they get around to it. Janny, I don't know your case. I can't really answer that question. I'm grandfathered in under INA 245. I have a pending affirmative asylum. Can I get EB3 inside the country? Yeah, because you're 245I. The problem is EB3 is going to take too long, and you want your affirmative asylum to keep lingering to keep you here. But it's maybe doable if you have a proper 245I case. What about people who have withholding removal? They're probably okay, but never know. Kidson says, can I transfer my I-24 to Nebraska or California? My case is take long. You can't transfer. You have no control over where it's processing your I-24. Haji, can you file I-4? Dave, I think can you file I-45 and affidavit support separate, but I filed I-130 already? You can file the I-130 first and do adjustment status affidavit support later. It's depending on your case. That's possible. Milk Less Cow says, what about DACA people who's worked and lived here more than 20 years? What about them? Is it safe to travel advanced parole? Rick asks. It's never. Is it safe to get in a car or drive to work? Probably. Some people get hit and they get bad accidents, but well, that's it. You're welcome, KW. Chris says, I'm already a U.S. citizen. Okay, so what's your question, Chrissy? XO says, if I got my SIGs approved, I don't do SIGs, so I don't want to talk about that. How long does a spouse visa take to be approved? It varies depending on where you are, your background, and luck. Chris says, I'm already a U.S. citizen through the military. I just need to make sure I don't fall denaturalization. I mean, if you had a clean case, then you're okay. If you had problems that you should have noticed that they didn't notice, then they have problems out. I can't really say. It's like asking me, am I healthy or not? I'm like, maybe you are, maybe not. I have to check you out. Go to the doctor. Doctor does tests and stuff like that and try to find it. And sometimes doctors miss stuff, and most of the time people are healthy. I mean, that's the kind of answer, only answer I give you. Gion, I answer your question. Edgar says, if you're a citizen, your spouse has been a green card, there be a couple of you. If you're U.S. citizen, your spouse have a green card and been here for a couple of years. Okay, what's the question, Edris? Fortune, just saw a new video about Biden's KFT. That's only for unprocessed immigrants. The KFT program's done. They denied it in the court. Very unlikely it's going to come. User 310, what about people married who have withholding removal? What is the next step? They got to schedule a consultation with an attorney. What will happen to people in California DACA? I don't know. How about N14 document can't show up? I don't know. Monica says, what is the quickest processing time you have seen for marriage in our case? Like a month or a couple weeks. User 310 says, what about people married? Oh, answer that question. My fiance and I got married within 90 days, but that's past now. We haven't applied for a green card yet. Okay. As long as you got married within 90 days, you just need to file for adjustment of status I-45. Dumping Man asks, if you get your 2-year conditional green card, do you think it's going to be hard to get a 10-year under new administration? Probably. I don't know. I can't speculate, really. You just do what you got to do is have the proper documentation, have a good case, and then leave it up to that. It's like asking me, like, who's going to win the lottery tomorrow. I was like, I can't really say. Chris says, please slow down. Okay. XO, answer that. Aryan Afghan, I'm a green card holder. I applied for my wife. How long will it take to get from Afghanistan? It's going to take many years, probably 3 to 5 years. Kate says, hey, John, you need to update your site on the screen. Couldn't find you. It's missing K. It's jqqlaw.com. Try jqlaw.com. Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. I'm not sure which screen. Oh, boy. I've been sending people the wrong direction. Thank you for telling me that. Let me fix the name on here. Yeah, I did in a rush to kind of come to the show today. There you go. God bless you. Thank you so much. Okay. I just saw your video. What if you're a U.S. citizen, your spouse has been here for a couple years and have a green card? What about them? I don't know. You have to have like specific things. I can't speculate as to what's going to happen in the future. So it's not. Sandra says, my baby's down here with a permit when he was 15. Can I still fix it if you get married? Yeah, if you're a U.S. citizen and you came here with valid status, it's possible, Sandra. I have a detailed guide on this. Everyone can do it. 70-plus pages, free. Go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com. It's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. There's a 70-page guide there. And then just schedule a private consultation if you want to talk about it more in detail, private. But again, if you enter lawfully, doesn't have criminal history, there's a sponsor for financially, you have a relationship, which obviously you do, then it's something that's doable. We do this stuff all the time. Chris says, question about denaturalization. I answered your question. Because it's so individualized what you're asking. First of all, we don't know how denaturalization is going to work, but if you're really worried about it, you got to schedule a private consultation because I can't really answer. Maybe there's just nothing to answer there. I can't guess stuff. Or can you still get married to a U.S. citizen if you came into the U.S. with a tourist visa and get a green card? Yeah, that's probably going to always stay. It's just they're going to have more background checks or more financial questions, stuff like that. Okay. Jung says, quick question. My daughters were approved for visa at NBC waiting interview. Will they be affected? Well, if they're waiting for the interview, they have not been approved for a visa because they have to get their interview, and after the interview, they're approved for a visa. So if the interview hasn't happened, then it's not the case. Shirley says, I used to have DACA, let it expire, but I was able to travel through advanced parole. I've been married to U.S. Okay, so Shirley, schedule a time. Download our guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. But that's a good case right there. Should look into it. Fortune says, you didn't answer the question, does KFT ruling and program affect those who came in legally? Those who came in legally could never use the KFT program, so it has nothing to do with the other. That's whatever happened on KFT doesn't apply for people who entered with permission. Shirley, I used to have DACA, but I was married 5 years. I don't know. Sure, schedule a private consultation. Street says, what if you got criminal record and probation? Well, that's not good, but it's just there's more context to that. We got to schedule a private meeting for that. Ali says, file for spouse F2A in May 2022. Didn't get any updated approval. Yeah, it's pretty annoying because the F2K category is getting current soon. And I have cases from around May 2022. And it's like, come on, like approve these so we go move to the next step. They're just backed up, unfortunately. King says, is it safe to try Advanced Pro? I don't know. Ariane, thank you very much. You're welcome. Melissa says, can court check your immigration status when you want to add father who's undocumented last name? If they could do whatever they want to do. I don't really know what court you're talking about, so I can't really answer that question. Quick question. My daughters have answered that question already. R says, R answered your question already. Nonetheless, is L1 going to be difficult to get once Trump stated? Sorry, yeah, that one, yeah. The L1s are going to be more difficult to do. I used to be like an expert on L1s. That's what I focused on before Trump came last time around. I just stopped doing them because it was so much extra work to do them. So you can expect that, unfortunately, to happen again. Sarah says, if you're a citizen but had a baby with a girl from out of the country, can the baby still get citizenship? If you lived in the U.S. long enough, 5 years physically before the child was born, 2 or 3 of which are after the age of 14. About to apply for Ghana. K1 is best or CR1. It really depends on the facts of your case and what your goals are and stuff like that. So schedule a private consultation too sweet. Fortune says, you didn't answer the question. Is KFT really probably affect those who came in legally? I did answer the question, and I said it has nothing to do with the other. KFT didn't only apply to people who entered illegally or without permission. If you have a green card, can you still travel the country? Yeah, as long as you don't have like issues or like criminal history or something like that, will catch you at the border. Kelly says, both my parents just got the pro in place because I'm in the military, got the work permit as well. Congrats, that's wonderful. Shirley says, question mark, Shirley, please schedule a private consultation so we can look in your case. jqklaw.com/contact. Kelly asks, would they lose it with new suspension of the Pro in Place program? No, the Pro in Place program, I haven't read the court decision, but most likely it applies to the new program, KFD. Military Pro in Place has been going on for decades, so that's not something I'm going to touch because the military program has been there. I don't think that's going to be problematic. What is problematic for people who do file for Pro in Place who don't know the law is you may be subject to what's called a permanent bar, which will prevent you from getting a green card. It's because you if a person entered the U.S., stayed here without permission, left, and then came back again or got caught at the border or something like that, and then came back again, that stuff will get you in trouble. Modu asks, what about if you get a spouse visa refused and you got divorced after 5 years and you remarry another U.S. citizen? Will that affect your petition? We got to see what's going on in your case. It might accuse you of marriage fraud, so I got to learn more details about your life. Okay, Fortune. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to mute you. Is TPS override the I-94 stamp? I'm not sure what TPS override means. I-130 approved, but waiting for 212 approval. How long can I-130 put on hold? The I-130 could be put on hold as long as you, if you're doing consular processing, if you get a 212 waiver, that's because you, I mean, you may have to contact the embassy depending on what kind of case it is to keep the case open, but generally, it's indefinite. We have Apple asked a question about AB3, how long it's going to take. I can't answer questions about timelines. I have a flight next week. Should I be worried? I don't know. The plane, hopefully it did the maintenance on the plane. I'm a U.S. citizen. My husband's Canadian. I filed I-130. Can he come and work legally? He can't just come with a tourist visa and work here. That could be considered fraud, but he's visiting you and decides to stay. That's a different story. You can file for work permit in those kind of cases. What about VAWA? I don't know. We'll see. What's happening to Cuban asylum? I don't track that case. I'm in California, so I don't usually do Cuban asylum. We got to best to contact the Florida attorney for that. F2 will be difficult for Indian, which every time is different. Hey says, for pending asylum interview, waiting for 9 years. Any other option? Just keep waiting. You can file a lawsuit. EO says, is it more dangerous to apply if my boyfriend and I are planning to get married and we are gay? No. It's the same. Can my husband get his citizenship? He's illegally here, but I'm married U.S. citizen. Depends on his background. Did he enter lawfully? Does he have criminal history? All that kind of stuff. But Bushka, should you register for selective draft? Is you're undocumented? Yes. You're supposed to legally. Do you have a phone number? I do, but it's better to go to our website, jqqlaw.com/contact, and fill out our intake form, initial intake form. It's very short. jqqlaw.com/contact. DB says, I-130 approved. I'll answer that. I'm here legally on a visitor visa, but an active company. How soon can I start the process? I think you may have a company that's hire you. It's probably not going to happen on this trip, but you have to see what's exactly going on in your case. Did Trump say anything about canceling VAWA? I haven't heard about that. Talk says, I left the U.S. December 2017 after my J1 visa ended. Then I got approved for an F1, which I used to re-enter in 2018. Do I need to apply for J1 waiver now before filing a marriage? Yeah, you do, Talk. If you didn't spend the 2 years out, you need to get the waiver before you submit for adjustment of status. So schedule private consultation. We do these kind of cases. I have a video on YouTube going through the YouTube about this J1 case sample I went through that's similar to yours. What form do you attach with I-130 form for spouse visa? At least an I-130A. But download our guide, Modu. Go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com and download our guide that goes through all of it. Marriageimmigrationlaw.com. ED says, what about DACA with clean records? I don't know. I need to know what about them. You have a marriage case pending, or just be generally speaking? Generally speaking, I don't know what's the future. I don't know what's going to happen. Do you think N600 will be affected? I don't think so. I don't know. How long to get my partner here to get a green card after getting married? He's currently on DACA. It depends. Did he enter legally or not? Does he have advanced parole or not? You have to go through a waiver or not? You have to get all that information. So download, just contact us, jqqlaw.com, schedule a private consultation. All right, so I'm going to be ending the show pretty soon. Get a last couple of questions in. The best place to ask questions is on YouTube or maybe on Instagram, because TikTok, it's hard to keep track of what's going on with all the questions. EDR says, planning in marriage, sorry, but end of year signed off on. Entry is not legal and no advanced parole. So, yeah, you're gonna have to either get a waiver, I-618 waiver, or get advanced parole travel document and travel and come back in, because you need legal entry to be able to file for green card, unless you have some sort of exception like 245I. It's rare exceptions. We have to look into that, but it's gonna be problematic in your case. I got this little fly buzzing around me. Sorry. All right, I'll answer 2 or 3 more questions. We'll call it a day. So I can't start the application if I own my company as in the U.S. and U.S. employees. It depends on what application you're looking for, and there's also immigrant intent issues. So we got to see what's going on. Biharn says, E2 visa or L1, L2, please. Biharn, what is the question? Like, they're different categories. So E2 visa, if you have a country that you have a passport of a country that allows it, you can do that. L1A is possible if you are transferring to the U.S. after working for the same company or related company for 1 year. They have different goals and reasons to do each, and timelines and stuff like that. It's pretty complicated. So you should schedule a consultation about that. Tempo says, and EDJ Jr., you should schedule a private consultation. jqqlaw.com. We handle your kind of case regularly, but time is of the essence. jqqlaw.com/contact. All right, 2 more questions. Is proof of income needed when I file for Form I-130? No. D says, is it hard to get H-1B visa knowing that Trump won? It's hard to get H-1B visa anyway, so don't even worry about Trump. Just try to get it first and then figure out if it's going to be hard or not. USCIS did not acknowledge my green card package more than a week. Okay, that's not too bad. Wait for a couple weeks. All right, I'm trying to find the last question. Behind, I have a company in the U.S. and in Kosovo, so which visa is better to take family here and starting life? It's strategically, we got to see what's going on. I'm not sure what passport you have, but there's a lot of different factors to consider to see which case is better, what your longer term goals are, and all that kind of stuff. So that's not something I could properly answer here, Behind. Please schedule a private consultation. We can talk about it. There's just a lot to be discussed. Grace and Mercy says, what the judge Texas signed last night does affect marriage green card. The Texas decision affects people who are using the KFT, Keeping Families Together Parole in Place program. So it doesn't affect other people. I haven't read it, but that's what the goal of the whole litigation was. But I haven't read the decision yet. I doubt it's going to be outside of that. And last question. What if you came legally for university but overstayed visa and want to go through marriage? We do those case lex every day. That's our main kind of case for people who are studying here or even studying and finish their studies still here who marry U.S. citizens. Download our guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com, but better get scheduled a private consultation so we can go through it and get that case in as soon as possible, because it's going to get more complicated. So we want to get that up and running. And M. Sarit says, I'm an F1 visa. My husband's a citizen. We just got married. How long should we wait when applying for change of status? What's called adjustment of status. And the timeline from waiting and getting married to filing doesn't matter. It really depends on your background, when you last entered, what issues you have. Schedule a private consultation, Sarita. We'll talk with you, your spouse, about it. Do a video consult. We'll take from there. To start, go to jqqlaw.com/contact. Again, that's jqqlaw.com/contact. /contact, and we schedule a private consultation. We can really get down to business and talk about your case and talk about strategy, private stuff that you can't talk about openly, and just plan out what's going to happen so you have the smoothest possible situation in front of you. That's my goal, is to make your life as smooth as possible. All right. So with that, thank you for joining us today. We had a little bit longer session than usual in this pop-up. God bless you all. Be safe. I'll be back next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern is my regular time where I ask questions. We're here every week. This was a special pop-up I did because we got a lot of questions with the election and with the recent court decision, all that kind of stuff. Thank you, everyone. Be safe. Talk soon.